Don't start a new business or convert everyone to atheism, or what are we doing? Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Moleski. This is my YouTube channel. Today I'd like to talk about, maybe what we get from other people. Listen, I have a lot of things to say. Fuck, I wish I could tell you exactly what you're in store for. I might do a commenting on comments, I might not. There will be a poll at the end of this video that will either say, hey, viewer, do you think I should not do a commenting on comments tomorrow? Do you think I should do one tomorrow? Do you think I should go live for a Q&A tomorrow? All right, let's do it. So there's only so many ways to discuss life because there's only so many ways to live it and see it. There's a lot of overlap within systems and movements, functions and desires, actions and reactions. This thinking, or this knowledge, has led me to see an overwhelming overlap with entrepreneurship and relationships, and support groups and religion. I think I have a point with all this. Some businesses have more regulation than other businesses. Sometimes the capital needed to start a business that you actually really want or you're really interested in is tremendous. Difficult. The entry fee, if you will, is grand. And sometimes an entrepreneur is so antsy to begin that they'll start wherever they can afford it. That's fine. Get your foot in the door, assess, move on, but know that your competition is higher and the market is flooded. I mean, anything that has a low entry to barrier is going to probably be flooded. So sometimes a business you want to start has a customer base that is broke. I think of a liquor store that sells low quality products, especially if they're going to create the business or live in the neighborhood where there's lower income. So great, that's fine. It's easier to save the money or borrow that money to start that business. But vandalism is more likely. Robbery is more likely. And the customer base couldn't give you a high ticket sale even if they wanted to. And often they don't even want to. You're looking in that business at quantity over quality. But it's easier to start that business in that neighborhood. Some people, on the other hand, open a high-end liquor store, but it takes more money to do that, much more. If you're going to stock Veuve Clicquot and Camus and Chateau d'Yquem and all the first gross of France, you need far more capital. And you have to have a place to put your storefront where people that have that money are interested and that are interested in your product have access to you. A place that is in their comfort zone. You need a way to grab their attention, and location very much matters. Rent is higher. That's one of the barriers to entry. Your high-end liquor store won't do well in the neighborhood where the 2 buck chuck and PBR sales make up the bulk of the sales. No, there are perks to paying higher rent in a well-established neighborhood. When you start that high-end liquor store and place it in an established, well-to-do neighborhood, you're less likely to get robbed. You face less chance of vandalism. But if you do get robbed or vandalized, it can hurt more. That broken window of your business can't wait like it could in the crappy neighborhood. The broken window in the bad area of town can wait to be repaired because everything in the neighborhood is broken. It's damaged. It's a way of life. It's normal. Destruction is normalized. Broken is a way of life. And the customers of the low-end liquor store aren't looking for a fancy store. You'll still get business because they're just looking for cheap beer. But the high-end liquor store can't afford to wait. Their damaged window will be noticed because the neighborhood is not used to damage or destruction. They, the clientele, expect you to offer them a clean, safe, dependable experience. If you're going to please them, you have to offer a lot. And so we can look at this at every arena in life, well, or mostly, I would say. You can lend a friend a small amount of money, but if you have little money and few friends, it can affect you more. When your friend turns out to be untrue, it hurts. I mean, this is across the board, and you remember, it stings, you learn a lesson. Don't lend friends money. You can't trust anyone. Or people only care about money. Or if they're going to be a bad person, then I can be a bad person now too. Any lesson you want. It's your life. and you are free to see things any way you choose, but you have to choose how you're going to see things. And no one is safe, by the way. Millionaires get screwed too, right? There's also schemes and schemers, Ponzi schemes, Bernie Madoff, high-end theft, art theft, diamond theft. People lose millions. They lose their fortunes. And even a well-intentioned financial advisor can accidentally help you to lose it all. And sometimes when you start a business, you realize that you don't really know how to run an effective business. It's overwhelming, and what you thought would be great fun and provide you with happiness just doesn't. It's too much work, it's too much trouble. Maybe you're in the wrong business. Maybe business just isn't for you. I don't know. I don't care. I'm just saying. So the point of starting a business, investing in the money market, is not a guarantee, but a hope of a return. And because of that, it's not worth it to some people, and that's quite all right. But here's where my confusion begins. What if there was a YouTube channel that told you to never start a business because the odds were against you? And they'd be right, but would you watch it? What about when you personally decided to never start a business because you only want to be an employee? For credit, what if this YouTube channel's host had started 6 businesses in their life and they had failed at all of them? And not just failed, but financially ruined themselves because of them each time. Many different failures were theirs. Enough failures to tell you not to try. Like they're sued by a customer because the laws said they could. And not only were they sued, they were sued and lost. Or at another business venture, the good-for-nothing hypergamous free market left them in the lurches because someone else moved into their niche space that offered better customer service. Another time, their business partner ran off with the money. Another time, the licenses got way too expensive. Insurance rates went up due to other people in their niche's negligence. I don't know if I'm saying in their niche negligence. And the government, due to random idiots who voted for it, raised the minimum wage, and now they couldn't afford to pay their employees. They're out of business. And now this YouTuber is telling anyone who will listen to never, ever start a business. And if you choose to start a business, then you're just stupid. You're dumb. To those out in the world who are starting their business, this YouTube channel will condemn them for their foolhardiness, their stupidity, because taxes, insurance, competition from Walmart or PF Chang's or Ruth's Chris or Aveda Massage or Geico. If someone says they had a successful business for 20 years but decided to sell because they lost interest, they might be condemned. If you say you or your friend has a successful business for like the last 30 years and counting, this YouTuber or people in the Don't Start a Business community might say, yeah, but just wait because it will fail. Or, well, that's not normal. And when you share those experiences, it just gives people false hope. The good news for my Imagine YouTube channel is their content could always be fresh. They could always find examples of businesses that fail every day. Every day there's a failure, and sometimes it's a brutal failure. They can share that info with you and talk shit about it to you for you. They can find the absolute worst examples to shore up their view. Not their view necessarily, but what they believe to be an inalienable truth. Their content would fuel your distaste for entrepreneurship. I just met a barber up the street who said he almost went out of business because the stupid city, our city planning is horrible, but basically closed off the road with access to their store for like a year. And they did. They shut the door. They're like, oh, screw it, we'll do a remodel. So then one of the construction workers came up one day and they're like, hey, how much is this affecting your business? They're like, actually, it's really affecting our business to the point that we shut down. And he said, well, give me a high and tight or whatever, I don't know, the lingo for you guys for your hairdos. But if you do that, tomorrow I'll make a sign. So they gave him a haircut, and then he made a city sign saying access to this barbershop still open, go here. That was a year later. Why didn't the city plan for that? That's fucking government. That's why you shouldn't start a barbershop. I'm just kidding. I could say that's why you don't start a barbershop, but I won't. I'll never say that. There's other people who will say that. Don'tstartabarbershop.com is a great place to start. A channel like that, who would tell you not to open a business, would never be popular. But why not? Because if you don't want to start a business because of the risk, then you just don't. If you don't have the funds to start a business, you just won't. You don't really need to listen to examples every day as to why you shouldn't start a business. It would be a waste of time to listen to anything like that when you're not intending to start a business of your own. You just wouldn't care enough to spend the time to watch. But if you were interested in starting a business, you would probably look for a YouTube creator or content or website or speaker that said there are risks. It's not for the faint of heart. But if you're still interested, then here's how to do it with the best chances of success. And who would you listen to for this? Probably not the dude who failed 6 relationships and has a chip on one shoulder and a message on the other. I'd say you'd listen to a magnate. I like Dan Pena, personally. He publicly decries the type of people who couldn't be successful in business. He makes no declaration that business is easy. So it would depend on the advice giver, right? The financial advisor, the business coach. They'd all have different advice, but it wouldn't be the only way to succeed in business is to never start a business. So one person may advise you to start a business that has never been tested, a virgin market. You don't want to buy a business, you must start your own from scratch. That way you can make it the way you want it. You can mold it however you want. It doesn't always work like that, but that's the risk. Others might tell you to buy a used business, but not just any business. They would tell you what to look for. Perhaps look for a business that is promising, but it's being sold because the owner is ready to retire. They might say not to buy a business that has a bad reputation for customer service, even if the logo and website is stunning. They would probably tell you how to assess the business, how to look at the books, what questions to ask yourself and the person selling the business, what questions to ask, or a poll for the market base. And depending on what you want, you look for the chance of ability to reproduce, like wealth, franchise, potential. They would help you to understand the work needed to make it a success so you can decide for yourself before you invest if it's right for you. And really, like I said, if no business venture is worth it, then why would you even go to the seminar or their YouTube channel or their website? You're happily not in the market. So why are anti-relationship channels so popular? Here's my guess. Because human nature is to partner up. We're all on the same bell curve here, people. Female nature, male nature. There is a normal longing to be loved, to love, to depend on one person, to know one person, to count on one person, and then to show your appreciation and attraction to them through your sexuality, your devotion, your humor, your money, your willingness to cook, your loyalty, your wit, your affection, or however it is that you express love and however they receive it. It's compatibility. I reckon when some people experience the pain of betrayal or loss, they look for comfort within a community that understands and nurtures them, a group to commiserate with. I did this when I lost my religion. I felt lost and angry, and I really got a kick of dopamine when I found content that sided with me and suggested that the believers of God were just stupid and idiotic. Case closed. Checkmate. I win. That's it. I mean, what? Okay. So, but eventually, I got my fill. The sponge was soaked, so to speak. So the repetitious rhetoric grew tiresome, and my views began to change organically. I was rewarded less and less by the name calling and the self-righteousness of the content that had once carried me during hard times. But the thing with these believers, in this case, I'm referring to the atheists, in this case, was that when I was ready to question more, to propose theories or ask questions against the narrative, I was no longer welcomed. There was no interest in thought experiments. It was you're with us or you're against us. It's as if they had a coin and they only ever polished one side of it. And when you'd ask to see the other side, even briefly, they would deny there was one. But there is another side. You can deny it up and down. You can avoid it. You can put your head in the sand. You can hate it, but it's there. I think it's solipsistic to deny the other side. But anyway, so I've heard the same thing with former SJWs. Some come out of the fog and they begin to question, and then they question their group, and they lose their tribe. Questioning is not welcome. Someone recently reached out to me to discuss pretty much exactly this paradigm because they're a part of an adoption support group. And the people in the group, they found, started blaming all their emotional ailments on the fact that they were adopted. And when someone would suggest, maybe just everyone's kind of fucked up and adoption doesn't have anything to do with it, they were met with wicked resistance. No, it's adoption. Okay, so what about women who leave the feminist cult? Do you think it's easy to have your sisters turn their exfoliated back on you? I doubt it. I think of Mormons too. Honestly, I think they have it unbelievably tough. Their community is strong and people build their entire lives around the faith and the warm arms of fellow believers. It's safe and loving unless and until you question. Question too much, you're out. And that's painful to me. My heart actually goes out to anyone who feels the cold shoulder or snub of a tribe whom they were once a part of. So I'm seeing this with cancel culture. I mean, we've all talked about cancel culture, right? The opposite gender cancel culture, the opposite opposing viewpoint cancel culture. So I'll take this in the canceling the opposite gender. Some men and women really want to be alone and make a good life of it. I personally know single men and women who covet the experience and would not trade it for anything. I think that's great. If they're happy, I'm happy. Other people have had no luck or shitty luck with relationships, so they give up and settle into a peaceful life devoid of serious romantic relationships. Fine, that's awesome. But there are other people who profess to want to be alone, yet they need daily reminders of how being in a relationship is not that great anyway. It wouldn't work out anyway, and the opposite gender is canceled anyway. I needed that with atheism. I imagine that when someone commits their time and energy to a business of their very own and that business fails, they would enter a gloom. Of course, some people fall hard when they lose their business or their religion. A lot of people place their identity into their business or title of entrepreneur or title of community business owner, and when it fails, they fall into a depression. I imagine that a huge saving grace would be to find others who are doing A-okay after they lose their position or their livelihood, their business. I would think that daily reminders that life in fact does go on and can be even better before when you had your business and the daily stresses of it. Some may be reminded or see through hindsight, through the community perhaps, that after all, think of all the years that they missed because of the commitment to their shitty business, which once is lost, you can clearly see you didn't like very much anyway, but god damn, you were committed. Your business robbed you of happiness, youth, time, money, peace, and left you with nothing in return, let's say. So you seek others to commiserate with, others who understand you. I truly think that it can be helpful for someone mourning the loss of something to find someone who tells you that not having that thing is okay, or safe, or heaven, or great. But I do believe that some of the leaders are harmful. If a leader tells you to bankrupt as many small businesses as you can get a hold on because it's empowering, I think that's destructive. Maybe it's fun. I'm sure it is. Spreading pain, facilitating destruction has a power of its own. But there may come a day when it's hard to look yourself square in the mirror because of the counsel you took as gold standard. Some may tell you it's okay to work for a business, but never start one of your own. They may say work for a business and try to destroy it, or at the very least, let your boss know that you don't care about it. It's not your business and it never will be. Fuck it. Or maybe they tell you that if you lost your business to the hypergamous market, then it's good to spend your time on Yelp to leave horrible reviews of businesses or its owners. And it doesn't matter if you've actually used their business or know the business owner. All owners are bad, and it's your duty to warn everyone of the fact. And maybe so it's not so much the content creators, although some do provide such counsel, but rather who the community is that gathers around them. They can often create the rules for newcomers. What you typically won't hear is, hey, there may come a time when the dust settles and your anger subsides and you want to try again. Maybe you've learned why the last business didn't work out and you think you can create one that actually makes you happy, especially now that you know what works and what's important to you. And if you do decide to try again, I hope you succeed. I hope to never see you again, not because I don't care, but because I do. I wonder about anyone who name calls you when you decide to pack your luggage and depart from the community. Was that person ever really on your side, or were they just happy that you were on theirs? So what to do with this? I have a few questions for you. Whether you are a feminist, anti-women, atheist, Mormon, an alcoholic, a flat earther, an anti-business owner, would you personally allow yourself to consider the opposing viewpoint? The dull and neglected side of the coin. Would you stop researching how most businesses fail and allow yourself a few hours of consideration that some succeed? How set in your ways are you? Are you so set in your ways that you are the biggest boulder in your own way to growth and change? Are you so cemented to an idea that you'd feel like you're letting yourself down if you were to take one swing with a cement chisel in an attempt to break free, or at the very least, to see if the cement is strong enough to actually hold you? I'm not saying that a person who grows will ultimately flip-flop their views. I'm only saying that changing your mind or allowing multidimensional thought into your life can lead to intellectual and emotional prosperity. Okay, so now let's say that you are dead set in your ways and you said no to my question. No, I wouldn't consider that the earth is flat or that God doesn't exist or that feminism is harmful. Let's say you're there and you're happy. After all, you're the only person, you have the moral right to govern. So however you want to think and act is what makes you autonomous. So, great. So my next question is it that important that you try to keep people thinking like you do? How far would you go to convert others? Or how far would you go to keep your fellow community and tribe intact? And why? And why? I will answer for myself. Maybe it'll help you. When I was in my atheist period, I was so pissed off that I had been lied to. And who knows if I was. It was just my perception at the time. And I thought two things. I think two things about that time. No, I thought two things. People who believed in God were stupid. And I wanted to convert these stupid people to my side. But what strikes me as odd now is if they're stupid, why do I want them on my team? It's like thinking that ugly people are the worst people ever and then going out of my way to try to befriend them and spend time with them, thinking that just by hanging out with them, they'll become beautiful. Which actually kind of works. But that's a different video. Or maybe at the time, I think I thought I was saving people. So remember, right now, what year we're in, 2020, God is dead. And I mean that culturally. Secularism is high. And without religion, which to a degree is encoded within us, the emotion and belonging of religion will find a way to express itself. It seems that without a religion, we all find a cause to be religious. What I mean by that is politics, atheism, global warming, feminism, aliens, the Greys, anti-gun, emotion, etc. And I think anyone in those religions are doing what they believe is best for the world, converting others, or attempting to, and demonizing the other side. I think most people are good, not bad, really, and want to be helpful, not harmful. But I question the motives. For example, what was my motive, really? Why couldn't I let people live their own lives? I think I know. I wanted to have an impact. I wanted to be the salvation for someone. I wanted to be important, wise, sage. And when I look back on that, I have two emotions in my hindsight thinking. I think it was horrible. I feel foolish. Like, what a waste of time. What an amount of evil I portrayed by trying to break people of their faith. And it seemed that if I broke them of faith, my reward was glee. That's selfish. And I think selfishness can be good. Like in my last video, I said that. It's all part of complexity science. The other thing I thought was it was very good that I did that. By talking it out, by trying to convert, I delved further into the unarticulated parts of my theory about God or atheism. I sharpened the blade of my understanding or my opinion. And I don't know what it did for others. Maybe I ruined someone's faith, although I doubt it. Maybe I sharpened others' resolve to stay faithful. But what it did do for me was slowly hoist a ladder to a different cliff of thinking. My monomania on the subject reduced. My disdain faded. My empathy went up. And now when I meet a very religious person, I don't want to dissuade because now I'm at a place of inquisitiveness. I just don't care anymore. I don't belong to the religion sect of atheism anymore, so I'm more free to think deeply on the subject. It's not my identity anymore, so I can't be bothered to be enraged or offended by anyone's faith or lack thereof. Now I'm interested in angles and broadening my thinking. Learning things to add to the warehouse of ideas so I can weave a more nuanced tapestry. I want to introduce the notion to you that if you change your thinking, you're on the right track or on the wrong track. I don't know. But you're thinking. I want to introduce the hypergamous nature of the mind to the free market of ideas. On to the next. Which one suits me better? I want to say to you, it's okay to leave your community to explore other kingdoms. And don't let the villagers who have known you for years tell you differently. I want to say to you, this is your life, not mine, not Trump's, not Dan Pena's, not Gary Vaynerchuk's, not your priest, not your parents, not your occupation, not your car, not your Instagram, not your comment section. I was talking to myself right there. Your emotions are yours. Your hormones are yours. Your character is yours to build or destroy. So, what are you going to do today? Are you in a religious phase? Are you fully converted? Is your mission to convert others to your way of thinking? Is your mission to figure out how to pack your bags safely in the dead of night to make an exit from your village? Why do you want to leave your village? Should you leave your village? This video is not a call to action to enter a relationship or start a business or be a flat earther or to abandon your faith or stop hating the patriarchy. It is just a tap of the shoulder to jolt you even slightly into the knowledge that you are living your life, and I just want you a tick more conscious of it. Take what is offered to you from those who offer it up in kindness to help you where you are today, and leave them with no compunction when you think the time has come to move on. And with that, maybe you will leave me, or you'll never join me. Regardless, I wish you well. Should I do a commenting on comments? Do you guys have anything to say about this? There's a poll right here. Take the poll. Okay? Thanks for hanging out. I've talked for a long time, didn't I? I appreciate you. All right. Have a good day.